What's up, everybody? This is John Chesbro with Ebb and Flow Recording, and today I'm going to do a production breakdown of one of my songs on my latest EP, and that is Missouri. It's the middle song. I thought it was going to be the song that nobody liked. I was the most self-conscious about it, but ended up being a lot of people's favorites. So I'm going to break it down for you. Let's do it. So the start of the song had this really cool build. I'm looking up. I'm looking up at the screen. The start of the song had a really cool build-up, just some cool major 7 chords, and it sounds like this. Really cool. I love that intro. Dalton DeLima on drums, Akiba Davis on the organ, and Robert County on the bass, and they just nailed this intro. I mean, when Akiba did the organ, this was the last part of the recording when he did it, and I heard that, I was like I was blown away. I thought it was amazing, so damn good. That just brought like a whole new energy. So this has quite a few guitars and quite a few. Well, it's got a few guitars, but it's got mostly a lot of vocals here. A lot of different harmonies, a lot of do that. So let's break down the vocals first. Get the vocal bus going.
I never thought it would end this way. I'm never satisfied, always astray.
So I got harmonies on the first and the third, and on the next verse, it was the second and the fourth of each line, and so I kind of broke it up, made it a little different. This interlude bridge part leading up to the chorus, I think, is really cool.
Hard, but somehow there's more.
Bring that back a little.
Hard, but somehow there's more.
It just brings you to church. It just sounds like church to me. And then these vocals, Akiba Davis actually layered some vocals as well. He did a low, he did a high. I also layered like a crunchy, kind of like guttural one, and then a heavy, kind of loud one, and then a soft vocal harmony. So this is a lot of layers just in this chorus.
There's more.
Here it is.
So I'll pack my bags, head down to Missouri. Pack my bags, head down, head down.
You can hear Akiba's pack my bags. I love that. I think it came out so good. Yeah, a lot of vocal stuff happening in this song. I was really nervous and quite insecure about it, honestly, but it came out really, really good, and I was really proud of it. As far as the guitars go, simple. Rhythm guitar, 2 basically rhythm guitars with some melodies, some underlicks, whatever you want to call it, but very simple guitar stuff. Nothing super crazy. Let's highlight the guitars here. Just that. Really simple stuff. It's basic chords, man. I think the whole production, there is more production and more recording and more figuring out how this song was going to come about than there was time actually writing the song. It was very easy song to write, and it came out pretty naturally. It's just like getting all the pieces together was the hardest part. I think towards the end too. This is the end of the song. This is this is Akiba's organ solo. I loved it. So just a quick note too. The only people were like we recorded this live in the studio. Me, Rob, and Dalton, guitar, bass, drums, live in the studio to a metronome. And that part right there was not planned at all. And they nailed it. Akiba, you can hear it when they go bop, 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 bop. You can hear Akiba following it. And this wasn't, he wasn't part of the session. Right here. Beautiful. That's just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely frickin' beautiful. I love it. Yep, I think Dalton did, this is, I think the second take that we picked. I think we did about 4 takes each. 3 to 5 takes each song, depending on what we needed. You know, what I did was I came into the studio with a scratch track, and they recorded to a scratch track, but sometimes it just wasn't lining up properly, so we played live to a metronome, and I would just talk through a mic to kind of like talk them through the song. And that was really it. It wasn't a huge... It took like an 8-hour day to get all 5 songs, but I felt like I spent a lot more time mixing, you know, coordinating, you know, getting everything all together, and just how much of it behind the scenes had to happen to get this song out. But I think this song is a really good song. I'm really, really proud of this. Probably one of my favorite songs on the whole EP. It's a bop, you know. Like I said, I was the most nervous about it, but it ended up being the best. One of the best, in my opinion. And yeah, I think it came out great. So as far as mixing goes, a lot of parallel compression, just across. You can see right here, see on my aux sends, master comp, just across the board, man. And I use these buses here going into a master. Let's pick a split Vox. What do we got going on the Vox? We got, don't have the F stereo there, but Schweppes, Andrew Scheps. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Amazing plugin. The Omni channel. This is just like an amazingly beautiful plugin. Dial in so much. You know, even just the presets are amazing. So good. So well done. R compressor, obviously. That's a great one. SSL. I love a good SSL channel plugin here. Of course, I got the gate on. You know, sometimes recording vocals from home can be troublesome. You know, you got the street behind you. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on, so it's just easier to you know, have a gate right on that channel and a nice channel strip. This I feel like saved my mix. The vocal rider here. I think it was able to bring the quiet vocals up and the higher vocals down, and really just kind of balance the vocals. And one thing too that I learned, one of my friends, Derek Smith, taught me while recording, is to sing quieter. Hit more notes that way, and he was right. And that's what I did. I sang quieter, I hit more notes. I was able to play around a little more vocally, and I think it just sounded better overall. And lastly, on the chain, magma tubes. Great saturation plug-in here. You know, even the presets are good. I dial these in a little differently each time, but, you know, dial to taste always. But great plug-in. Really brings things forward in the mix. I think it just shined, gave it that final polish on it, you know. Really well done. A little EQing here on the channel itself, you know, I like to get between 600 hertz out. Bump up. I did a little 258 bump here. I felt like I did that towards the end too, because as I was sharing these mixes, someone said to me, my buddy Rob actually said, I feel like it needs more warmth. It's a little too thin. So I was like, all right. So I gave it a little bump here on the lower end. That's just the vocals. I felt like me, a good mix is like I can hear everything clearly. Even if it's like kind of in the background, if I still can pick up, if I want to choose to listen to it and I can find it, then I think that's a good mix. It doesn't have to be spectacular, but I feel like if you can hear everything clearly, if you want to try to find a moment in the mix or like throughout the song and you want to put your attention to that and you're able to, I think that's good. I think that's really solid. And then obviously the mastering will, amplify that if it's done well. But yeah, a lot of vocals, basically like a choir here. Bass where it was done DI. I think the drums too I want to talk about. This came out very well because in this studio, this is a little pretty simple, but got the Schweppes, Ozone, tubes. But we recorded in this big room with this brick surrounding us. So it had this beautiful natural beautiful natural reverberated sound. There it is. But it was just a gorgeous sound. So I tried not to like ruin it with more reverb. So if I wanted more reverb, I just used more of the room mics. So I think what we had was stereo, toms, snare, kick, 2 room mics, and then 2 back room mics. And I think there was also there was a stereo mic in there as well. Yep, drum center, left room, right room. Oh yeah, the ride cymbal. So there was I was able to play around a lot with just the drum sounds, and you can see there didn't have to do a whole lot. You know what I mean? I just kind of like did a really simple mix. If it's recorded nice and it's done well, I don't feel like I have to ruin it with EQ. Obviously I played a little bit on the drum bus here, but yeah, final mix. I think it came out really good. Oh, also one thing I want to note. On my buses, every single one of my buses, I take out 4 dB of gain right off the bat, because that allows me to have good gain staging when I do bring this to mastering. See how I'm not just going crazy and clipping up here? Keep it low. Record kind of low, just so, when you mix, you have enough room, and then when you send it to mastering, you have enough. That's what I try to think of throughout the whole process, because a lot of this was done, very guerrilla style, all by myself, I feel like I had to get everyone together, get the studio session paid, get the engineer, in the session, and get everyone there, and then book with other people. I had a session with just Akiba to do vocals and keys and percussion. And then I had the session with Rob and Dalton, and then, all the mixing sessions I did with just myself at different studios. And, I didn't even have a studio like I have now. I would just, I had to plug my headphones into my laptop and find a quiet spot. So, this came out good because there was a lot of love that was put into it. Really, really proud of this. I know I've said that a lot, but it's like, it's my baby. That's my baby. I love her. So, anyway, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, haikus, whatever you want to throw my way, leave it in the comments. I love to chat. And like, follow, subscribe for more. Peace and love, y'all.